Thursday night. What is this? Episode 259? What did we start this conversation? What was it? 2015, 2016, and here we are, 259 episodes later. I think tonight is going to be epic. I think it's going to be unprecedented because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't ever recall having 7 plus 8 people in the conversation. We're calling this the Magnificent Seven, the 6-figure W-2 Dream Team. Like I'm counting. Like I got a team shot here. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19 people, give or take, yes. And we got 7 of the 19 that are north of 6-figure W-2s, from anywhere from 100, I think it goes up to 125, 130,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. Randy, you do the math on that. What is that, like almost 40% of the team is in 6-figure turf, when 99.9% of the salons in America doesn't have 1 6-figure. I got 7 out of 19 on tonight. Oh my God, we're gonna blow it up. Got a lot to talk about. Nick and Barbie Horn are the founders of SAHAIR Salon. They are located in Parker, Colorado. Go ahead and Google. I double dog dare you. Top salons in Parker. You'll see that they're number 1 on Google. They got just an extraordinary Google Your Business page. I was kind of turfing and surfing their website. That's like world class. Check out the videos on their website. Each one of their people have put together a video, but I mean, it's just off the charts. Hanging out on their Instagram. So they got it all going, man. They really have it all going. And I want to give you a couple of stats to just let you see. Look at this. Average ticket just this side of $140. I'm talking about the salon now. I think now average ticket nationally is around 90-ish, maybe 80, 90. They're, $40, $50 north of that. Referrals are running at 13%. You add in their new business is running at just this side of 21. I mean, you do the numbers on that. That's like 33, 34% of their business is new because their brand now exceeds any individuals inside of it. They've got that momentum, and so their rebook is 70. You do the arithmetic on that, you go 70 plus 33, 34. They're over. There's no such thing as being over 100%. And yet you can see these numbers here like 104, 105%. This is why they're going from, when you start doing the numbers, I think they in 2019, they do 1.1. They're going to crack $2 million this year. So in 1 year, they almost double their business. This is what you get when you kind of you put the right people in the right place at the right time. Their hearts are on right, their souls are on right, their minds are on right. I mean, this is off the charts, you guys. So I'm not going to take anything away from their story. This is their timeline. They purchased a pre-existing in 2008, and they're on the struggle bus for a few years. It took them a while to just kind of figure out what's up. They do. They go to a summit or a pre-summit, and they have a big OMG. They launched Summit in 2016, and the rest is kind of history. First year, 576. Then they double it in 2017 to just over $1 million. 2018, year of culture shift. Another year of culture shift. Business closed 6 weeks. 2020, we're all walking through COVID, and now, like I said, they're on fire. It's like nitroglycerin on a bonfire there. So start following them. On Instagram, it's SAHAIR Salon Co. When you get there, they just got a lot of cool stuff going on their Instagram page. Now, I want to introduce the players, the team, if you will, before I bring Mr. and Mrs. on to Nick and Barbie on to tell us the story. Barbie Horn is one of the Magnificent Seven. She's behind the chair. She's a level 6, 40-something, just under $200 average ticket. Average day, just decided $1,250. doing about 8 referrals a month, 82% rebook, hitting RTS at 11.3. Projected to do 125 this year. I mean, you see that. So that's like, you know, player number 1 blowing it up. Player number 2, and we're going to give each one of them an opportunity to sound off this evening. Jes Harris, level 6, a 30-something in the genre. We'll call her like what is it? Maybe we'll call her a young to middle-aged millennial, where Barbie is a young Gen Xer. Her average ticket's just under 2. Average days just over 8. 5 a month on the referral end. Rebooking 83%. And she's trending to do 114,000 this year. But look, 24-hour week. We're starting to see 6 figures inside of 24 hours. So as a matter of fact, the ideal week, people are peaking 24 hours a week for whatever reason, seems to be the magic number where people are fresh enough to do a lot inside of a narrow window. I think that's it's trending now, and it will become a norm. But listen, that's another conversation. Let's move on to Lisa. Lisa is level 6, 20-something, so she's on a very, very, very beginning, a baby millennial. Like if you go back 1 or 2 years, she would be even a Zinnial, and I think we have one of those. We have a Zinnial too inside of this. We'll see. Her average ticket's just under 160. Average day as a level of 6 is 1,050. Half a dozen referrals a month. Rebook is at 85 points, and you can see she's projected to crack 107 this year. Her handle is Lisa the Great, and on Instagram. And I wanted to make sure that I did a shameless plug for Jes Harris. Yeah, Jes is Jes_SAHAIR Salon. So I wanted to make sure that I got that right. Who else we got in the house? Trina. Trina Oramas is a level 5, 30-something, just under 180 average ticket, average day, just under 7, 5 referrals a month, rebooking just under 80, projected to do 107. And again, 24-hour week. I mean, these stats are so unfreaking believable. Oh, look at this. I'm really glad I didn't miss this. Lisa's doing it in 18 hours a week. Like, read my lips, right? 18 hours a week, she's going to crack 107,000. So I've been talking about this for a little while, and people think I'm hallucinating. I'm saying an 18-hour to 24-hour work week, if you know what you're doing and you're on your game, you're going to be able to enjoy a six-figure income. So this is unfreaking believable, you guys. Jardino, she is a level 5, and technically she's on the very, very, very front end of a millennial. You might even say technically she could be a senior Zinnial. Who knows? Who cares? She had a $140 average ticket, average day just under $675, half a dozen referrals a month. She's going to do 112,000 at 30 hours a week. Her handle is Jordon. Jardino hair on Instagram. I want to make sure that I didn't forget. Yeah, and if you're going to follow Trina, she's at Trina_trends on Instagram. And Lisa the Great, 18 hours. You guys, I want you to be following these people and DMing them and pick their brain, because it's unbelievable. It's off the chart. Kylie Long, age 24. Technically, she's a senior Zinnial from the Z genre. Average day is just under 5, half a dozen referrals a month. Projected to hit $100,000 at 30 hours a week. A level 4. Right? And then so she's off the chart. Her Instagram handle is Beauty by Kylie Long. And let's see, I think last but not least, this is a prodigy. Rachel Fink, level 2, 28, first year on the floor, $115 average day, 327, I beg your pardon, 115 average service ticket, 320, let's just round it off at 330 on an average day, 10 referrals a month. She's going to be a triple-digit referral maker. Her first year is 50. She will be trending to do 100 by the end of the year in 2022. So I wanted her in this conversation because I think she's a vision of what's possible. So they're in the green room. I know it took me a little while to set this up, but it's really, really, really important, you guys. So I'm going to go in my green room. I'm going to bring out the team. We'll get Nick and Barbie to chat about the story, and then we're going to give each of them an opportunity to weigh in. And we're going to unmute, and we're going to give it up for my buddies. Will you guys? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Michael.
I love it. How'd I do? That was a lot of introduction, but it was worth every second of it.
Yeah, it was long, but it's well worth it. These ladies are off the charts, and we're just happy to be here. We're honored to be on your show tonight.
Oh, well, thanks for coming. And so we're going to give each one of them an opportunity to weigh in. But I want you, Nick and Barbie, to tell us the story, because it's an extraordinary story as to how this all came to pass. So get us started with that.
Yeah, it's kind of what I've found talking with other Summit Salon owners. It's kind of the typical path. In 2008, we purchased the salon. Barbie had bounced around from salon to salon, and we finally found this location, SAHAIR Salon. We decided that we're going to go ahead and purchase it when the owner wanted to retire and get out of the business. We went through, we overpaid. We didn't know what we were doing. We just thought, hey, we should own a salon. We weren't getting into it for the right reasons. And so that's why we ended up struggling from 08 to 2015 is we were doing this thing, booth rent, and trying to figure it out. We were too big. And then what it came down to was we were doing everything wrong. If it could be done wrong, we would go search it out, find it, grab it, and do that. That was the way we were going. We were throwing darts in all directions. Every dart was a dollar amount. We were just trying to figure out our path in life. We were watching other salons become successful, but we didn't know what we were doing. But I can tell you what, we were working our asses off and we were doing it, but we were doing it in circles like a dog chasing its tail. So we were definitely driving the struggle bus. And then about 2015, we were ready to throw in the towel. It was our last year. Everything we do, we were mixing everything. All of Barbie's income was going directly into the salon to support whatever we had to keep it afloat. And what we ended up doing was we decided that this was it. We couldn't do it anymore. We had no direction, no meaning, no nothing. And then out of sheer luck, as a godsend, our salon-centric rep introduced us to you in 2015. We went to one of your stylist events.
I remember.
Yeah. And it was funny because even back then you were talking to us about our numbers. You were asking questions that really started pinging to us. We're just, we're like, okay, well, why is he asking this? And what you were doing is just setting the stage for what kind of salon we were, what kind of people we were, where we were going, that kind of thing. And it was really a blessing to go to your event. And then what we did from there is our salon-centric rep got us set up, and we ended up attending Summit. And at Summit at first, again, we're so beaten down and just so done with everything that we're, again, just ready to throw in the towel. And they send us to Summit. We have a little spark of hope. And when we get there, I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, man, this is, what is anybody going to tell us? It's just not for us. And then we get there and they literally hand us the Summit Bible. And in there is absolutely everything from level charts, numbers, leadership, all this kind of stuff. And the funny thing is, one of the stories I tell is because I wasn't mentally ready to run the business, so we were just running in the background. And So he hands me this book, and on the first page, I look and I grab it and I go, what's this French word along the top? This budget, what is that? And the guy grabs the book and he goes, that's budget, you idiot. And I was like, okay, budget. So, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know that, hey, you had to have certain percentages on, this is where your commission stylists need to be. This is where your advertising needs to be. These are all your budget and breakdown. And right there, something just clicked, because again, we were just working and working and working and working and had no idea what we were doing. But all of a sudden, it was like the map just landed into our hands on how to cross the world, you know, how to take the globe. And right then, we immediately ran back to our hotel rooms. We started plugging in numbers. We started figuring out what we were doing, and we're just like, holy crap, this is it. We can take this team and we can really grow. And so we went all in. Yeah. Absolutely. If Summit said jump, we said how high and how long, and what else do you need? We were all Summit all the way. And with no hesitation, because like I said, when you're running in circles and you're working so much and you have no clue, no idea, and then all of a sudden someone lays out a roadmap for you, we're off to the races. Now we had the direction. And so in 2015, you saw on our slide, we were about $270,000 gross. And then 2016, we went in, they taught us how to separate these things. And they taught us that the business is the business. Barbie is a stylist within the business. And so I still remember this to this day. She worked for the first time as a hairstylist, and we switched everything out. We no longer commingled anything. And it was after 2 weeks, and Barbie gets her first paycheck. And we look at each other, we're like, holy crap, this is what you did behind the chair? Like, we actually get to keep this? This is ours? This is like, we couldn't believe it. And so we just kept going and plugging along. And in 2016, we more than doubled our income. We started hiring people, started bringing on people. We started to grow the people that we had. We had our shift. 2017, we ended up changing locations. Based off of everything that Summit said, we went from a D location. I still remember Michael, you used to say that you'd have a D location, and at that D location, you had to float a balloon, and customers would call in and say, hey, where are you at? And you're like, take a left at the house with the bad curtains and the horrible tree, and get over here. And so when we finally moved to this new location, we consolidated, because at the old location, we were trying to do everything: nails, hair, extensions, massage, spa, whatever you could do. We were trying to do it, boutique. We were trying to do everything. And then we sat down and decided, we need to concentrate and get good at one thing. And what do we do good? And that's hair. Yeah. And so when we moved in this new location, we're getting down to a smaller 1,600 square foot location, 10 stations, and we're just going to focus on hair. And no matter what, we're going to be experts at that. And we're really focused. So 2017 was the first year that we hit $1 million gross. Obviously, that's not what you take home. We had some back end stuff that we had to figure out. So what we were more excited is that, talking about $1 million salon, that's just kind of vanity. That's just say, hey, I own $1 million business. That doesn't matter. What mattered more to us was that the girls inside the salon, the ladies, the stylists inside the salon, they were growing their own incomes, and that made us excited. So we kept going and going. And then in 2019, we really concentrated on an associate program. We concentrated on our team. And then in 2019, Barbie hit her first W-2 of over $100,000. And then again, we just sat there and we're like, this is like another milestone. This is kind of a big thing. Yes. So I still remember we took our W-2 and we brought it into the salon, and we sat down with everybody and we handed it around and showed it. And it was like, this is what's possible. Yes. This is what we can do. We have a formula of success, because Barbie works her butt off behind the chair. She really does. And but we have this plan, this action, so that we saw all the girls themselves working really hard, but with no really direction. So now that we felt like it was our turn to hand the roadmap to the stylists behind us, and we ended up growing from there and giving them, this $100,000 plan. Then in 2020, things were off to the races, and we really thought, hey, we're going to grow a couple of them in here. we were talking about goals, that kind of thing. Then, of course, the pandemic hit. But I'll tell you what, the pandemic allowed us, or we were closed down for 6 weeks. But what that did was that, when you're going and going and going, you are working inside the business. You're working in the salon behind the chair, and you don't have really a lot of time to do self-reflection because it's just go, go, go. And so that 6 weeks it forced us to take a pause, take a breather. And what we did is we turned and looked and worked on the business. We had single one of the stylists work on themselves. What are our goals? What are our scheduling? Reshifted some leadership teams that we had. But that was probably the best thing that could have happened. At the time, it was total chaos and panic, and we were running around like our hair was on fire. We had no idea what we were going to do. But looking back, that was the best time, was to sit here and say, we need to look at our business. We need to look at our stylists. We need to look at our guests and figure out exactly where we're going to go from here. And coming out of 2020, it felt like we were planning with our summit coach, Glenn Baker. Huge shout out to him. But we were on the phone with him once a week, and we really felt like we had a plan of action so that we were so ready for day one. May 1st is when Colorado came by and they said, hey, you guys can open up and get back to doing hair. And we had already had the plan. We had already worked on ourselves. We had the scheduling. So we were just basically sitting on go. We were waiting for that green light. We were sitting in that race car, just ready to hit the gas and go. And so when May 1st came, all of our team, all of our stylists, we just went after it. We started going. We implemented a whole lot of things that, like you're saying, these secret sauce things. And we just took off to the races. We actually grew our business in 2020. From the beginning of the year to the last part of the year, our business started to grow. I want to say it was from May 1st to the end of the year, it was 33%, 35% is what we started to grow. And what that did was, working on that brand, getting that snowball going, so that now we're here in our first half of 2021, and you can see the projections for all of these stylists and how everything is going to take off. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity that we're just blessed to be a part of. And it's not because of, I want to say this is not because of what we did. It's because of what these ladies did. It's what they, we're just so happy to be here and happy to support them in whatever they can. And
I love the story and how Barbie's cracking the infamous 6-figure Rubicon becomes a vision of what's possible. And here we are, 2021, and it goes from 1, it looks like there's 7 now that are on that choo-choo track. So it caught on, and what's unprecedented for me is that 7 out of, I was counting people in your picture. It looked like there's like 19 or 20 in your brand. I mean, you do the arithmetic on that. There's like, almost 40% of your people are moving into that kind of prosperity. So kudos to you. Barbie, anything you want to add? I'd like you to maybe weigh in to talk about what you do behind the chair to share with our community, so we get a tutorial to this inspiration. What did you do to go from where you were to crack 100? And now this year, I think you're trending 125.
Yeah, I just think all the mistakes that I did, and I feel like I have to make a path for everybody else in our salon. I have to be the one that pushes the limits and sets a pace and try new things, because if I don't do it, nobody else can do it. So I feel like I'm the one that has to make the changes and mess up for these girls so they don't have to.
Right. So I want to check in with some of your people, because each one of them has a profile, and I'd love to start with Jes, because Jes, you've got a lot of time in the business, and your story is extraordinary. I had an opportunity to meet you a week or so, mid-30 something, and you're trending in a 24-hour work week to do 115,000 on a W-2. First of all, congratulations. But what motivated you? What caused you to like pivot from where you were to now being on that fast track?
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that a lot. That means a lot coming from you. You know, I think first and foremost, it was me transitioning my mindset from a hobby hairstylist to a career hairstylist. When I started at SAHAIR, it was in 2014, so it was at the very end of that year. And I came into the salon with really no direction. Just for a little bit of my background, I had been doing hair for 18 years. So when I came to Nick and Barbie Salon, I had been doing hair for like 10 or 11 years already. And, you know, I think at the most when we looked up what I was making, it was $50,000. So doing hair for 11 years before I started at SAHAIR, I hadn't hit over like $55,000. So I felt like I was a hobby hairdresser and I was doing hair for fun because it's something that I loved, but I'd never been pushed. I didn't really know that hairdressers could make that much money. I just thought we went to work and had fun, and you didn't really make money, to be honest. I mean, that's kind of the stigma behind hairdressers. Everybody's like, oh, what are you going to do after you do hair?
Yes.
So I think I just told Barbie and Nick in the very beginning, like, I'm really skeptical about Summit. It sounds like a lot of work, and I'm going to give it a month, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to see what happens. And it's almost 7 years later. So I think obviously I had experience as a hairdresser, so I used that experience combined with, you know, tools and knowledge to grow. The first year I had an associate at the salon, I think my income doubled. So that's when I really was like, okay,
this is
I'm going to do this. Yeah. Like this program is amazing and it works.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things for me, not only did my income double with an associate, but it made me a better stylist. It obviously allows me to make the best use of my time behind the chair, but it also makes me a better stylist because I have someone that is looking over my shoulder 24/7 that I'm teaching and being a good example for. So it not only made me a better stylist, it obviously brought me more income. And I feel like one of my biggest passions at the salon is being able to be a part of those girls' lives and molding, you know, them growing. I've been doing hair for 18 years. I felt like it was finally my time to hit $100,000. It was finally my time. But these girls that I'm sitting in this room with, you know, Rachel being 28 years old, she hit 50,000. She's going to hit $50,000 this year. Like it blows my mind. I'm so excited for where she's going to be when she can sit here at 18 years doing hair and how much she's going to be making. Like that's the most exciting thing about this for me. Right. I think one of the biggest parts of my success, I have to give Nick and Barbie credit. I really do. I've never had anyone support me more in my entire life, other than my husband, who is my number one supporter. But Nick and Barbie are amazing. And I know that Summit has their back and Barbie has my back along with the rest of my team. And that's why we are so successful. The team of women that I have behind me it's insane. It's unlike any other business that I have ever heard of. Like we're like an army of women in our salon. If you ever need anything in our salon, you just ask, and it's nothing to people. Our salon is amazing. So I think, you know, lastly, having like a personal and professional buy-in to a salon company who supports my growth any way they can, that's like the biggest thing to me. Yeah. I literally have never had the support that I've had in my life from anyone other than Nick and Barbie. Like they are amazing. So I do accredit a lot of my success to them.
I love it. And I think when you and I were chatting was either you and I or you and I and Lisa, and we're going to go to Lisa next. If there's something about seeing a generation a new generation coming from up that, you know, hadn't been in as long as you, and seeing them make the strides, and it inspired you. I think Lisa into, it kind of jolts us into moving even quicker.
Yeah, I mean, these young girls come in and they're like on it, and they have the new trends, and you know, they're getting taught things in beauty school coming in that they're teaching you. So literally you're learning trends from them, and you're helping them, you know, not make the mistakes that you made in your career, and they're growing. I mean, it's not even 2 times faster.
Right,
it's ridiculous.
right.
Like Rachel, like you said, she's the poster child.
Yeah.
Like her to be on track to make $50,000, and she's been on our salon floor how many months? Since December.
Yeah, right. No, she's trending. I've got somebody, and I'm gonna Ann Brown asked a good question, but I'm going to say to Ann, just because we've got other people I want to weigh in. To Ann will DM. DM Jes, and you guys can, because she had some questions about how some specifics on how the associate program helped you to double income, and some questions about shadowing. So I'll let you two have that conversation. I want to weigh in with Lisa, because Lisa's story is off the charts. You're doing 18 hours a week, Lisa, level 6. 27 $1,050 average day, and inside of 18 hours a week you're going to do 107,000 plus this year. What's your story, and how'd that happen?
You know, when I first met Nick and Barbie, I had only been a hairstylist for 1 year, and I remember receiving my W-2, and I was $17,856. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this can't be it. There has to be more. I can't sit with this. And I was an associate at the time at another salon, and I asked one of our senior stylists what her W-2 was. And after hearing hers, and she was booked fully behind the chair 5 days a week, I almost quit doing hair. I was actually in real estate school when I met Nick and Barbie. And I was just giving them like my last leg, whatever I had left before I left. And when I worked with them, first of all, like everything Jes was saying, the team that we have is untouchable. We are completely 100% like a team. And so having that behind me kind of pushed me to level up from a level 1 to a 2. And once the level jumps happen, you kind of get this fire in you to keep it going. And then Barbie doesn't let your fire go out. So she relights you every time your flame is kindling. And after I hit a level 2, I was like, you know what? I need to start making goals for myself. I need to start making a plan for my life, because this is happening, whether I think it is or not. So my husband and I sat down and we talked, and I was like, okay, level 3, we're going to buy a house. Level 4, I'm going to have a kid. Like, I was planning my life away because it was possible to do that. And so at a level 3, you get the level 3 schedule. So I was able to purchase a house with Nick and Barbie's help. And then level 4, I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to try and have kids. I'm at a perfect schedule. My thing was more about the schedule. I wanted to be able to have a time where I can build in the salon and also build my family outside of the salon. Yes. And that's kind of what Summit's given me. So when I had my daughter, my goal was to always go back full time. And when I came back to the salon after I had her, I was like, let's just start 3 days a week part-time. And once I was allowed to have an associate, once I was given an associate, earned an associate, I noticed the numbers, and I was like, okay, wait a minute, maybe I don't have to go back full time. Maybe I can still raise my daughter and work in the salon as well. And that's honestly what it is. I would love to go back full time, but I don't need to now. And that's the best part about it.
I mean, that's what's so extraordinary about this. I just found out today through some research that 2 of the biggest reasons that for whether you're saying staying in a brand like this or leaving for something else is the scheduling of time. Can I make the most amount of money working 24 hours a week or whatever that number is? And you know, so I want to make a lot of money, but I don't want to be working, more than
my life away.
Yeah. And so it really is you giving a whole new feeling to having your cake and eat it too. So So kudos to you. Trina's next. Trina is level 5, 30 something, inside another one, inside of a 24-hour work week, trending to do 6 figures, $107,000 this year. Trina, what can you add to the conversation?
Yeah, I think just repeating everybody, just our team is unbelievable. They give me so much support, starting from Barbie and Nick, to the associate girls that come on. Just if we ever need anything, our team, I couldn't do it without them. My background is before I became on with Nick and Barbie and SAHAIR, I was booth renting, and so I was really hesitant to come on to a commission-based salon. I thought that would be kind of taking a step back in my career. I really had no direction when I was booth renting. So getting into this environment with direction and a plan and goals and seeing how much I can grow and seeing my income increase, I just never thought that was possible. And so just coming from booth renting to this kind of environment, I realize I need the support, actually thrive in a team environment, and just, doing the work, making the most out of my time when I'm there. Since it is, 24 hours a week, when I'm there at the salon, I do what needs to be done. I follow the plan. I have the support, the mentors, the classes, the education, like it could just go on. And I'm able to show my son, who's 17, and get him excited. And, so it's awesome to be in this environment. And that's really what's helped me grow.
Well, I'm really glad that you shared the part that once upon a time you were self-employed, business for yourself, independent, and that I'm assuming that what you're earning now is unprecedented. You haven't been into 6-figure income before, so just the idea that I've been self-employed, and I thought going into being a commission model, as you said, it's either a step back or I'm really kind of squelching my income potential. And to your amazement, it's like, no, I'm making more money now than I've ever made inside of a 24-hour week. It's people are kind of weighing in. They're saying it's amazing. It's almost like you gotta stretch to wrap your mind around this as an idea with potential. So I appreciate what you said, Trina, and kudos to you. I want to check in with Jordon. Jordon, level 5, age 27, trending to do 112 this year inside of a 30-hour week. What can you add to the conversation?
We've all really said a lot, but pretty much 3 years ago, I moved to Colorado with no clientele whatsoever. And at first I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna really struggle. This is before I knew anything about Summit, before I met Nick and Barbie. And then in that first year working with Nick and Barbie, we went to all the Summit classes, and I, more than anything, I learned how to organize our career too. Like the big 4, referrals, rebooks, all of that. I never realized how much that mattered. And now 3 years later, to be a 6-figure stylist is insane to me. I've been doing hair for 10 years, never thought it was possible. I was just like, oh, good for them. I can't believe that I'm going to be a 6-figure stylist now.
So how many years have you been at SAHAIR?
3 years.
3 years. So is this your 3rd year or is this your 4th year?
I'm going into my 4th year.
All
in
right.
July,
right.
I hit 3.
So inside of 4 years, in a 30-hour work week, you're trending to do $112,000 in a W-2. Somebody wanted to say something about, may I ask what one of the level gross income is? And I'm going to have them DM you to do that. Okay. Because what's interesting about tonight is it's almost what level you're in is inconsequential. Right, it's like you're getting to the next level will just happen. But what people have to wrap their mind around. Are you suggesting that I can get into high 5-figure and 6-figure income, and I can do that as a 4 or a 5 or a 3. We got somebody on that's level 2 and trending. So you're blowing the sides off of people's brain box by saying it really isn't what level you're in doesn't determine your income. It's what you're doing behind the chair. So I think that's extraordinary, Jordon. Thank you. The other person I want to check in with is Kylie. Kylie is 24, level 4, inside of 30 hours a week, trending to do 100,000. Kylie, what do you have to add to the conversation?
I think what was really important to me is that I started at SAHAIR as an associate, and I grew through the associate program, graduated in 6 months, and I came out and knowing everything that I already knew from the stylists before me, watching them with Summit, watching them grow themselves and grow me. I think it inspired me to come out of the associate program with the intention of having an associate of my own at some point. And now I'm finally at that point where I've had one associate, or sometimes I've even had 2 associates with me all day. And it's it's an amazing feeling to feel like you're also teaching and inspiring the girls the way that you were once taught and inspired. That was a huge thing for me.
So what I'm curious about is 24 years old, you started there as an associate, you're now a level 4, right? Trending 100,000. How many years have you actually been at SAHAIR?
I've been there 4 total.
So this is okay. So your 4th year, but you grew up through the level system, and at 24 years old, you're trending a 6-figure income. So to me, that's off the chart. Kudos to you. That's got to be absolutely thrilling. All right. So last but certainly not least is Rachel Fink. She's 28, level 2. Trending to do 50, and I think you're inside of your first year. This is your first, I believe. So tell us, as you're listening and as you're having this experience, what do you add to the conversation?
Well, for me, so I started SAHAIR in December. So this is like my 7th month, and coming in, it was just like I was wide-eyed. All of a sudden I come in and there's all these star stylists making so much money and doing amazing hair. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is an insanely incredible world. And I could potentially be a part of this and be like them someday. And so for me, it was the education, because coming out of school, I was really scared. I didn't even know how to do a balayage. And working with the educators, they were so kind and so patient. And I mean, I would be scared to let someone else touch my guest's head, but they let me. And they just really shared and inspired everything. And I just soaked everything up like a sponge. I was like, I want to be like them. I want to do this like them. So for me, sorry, I'm talking
so
too fast,
you're 28.
Watching, being inspired by them.
Yes. Now, did I get this right? You're 28, correct?
Correct.
And this is you start in December, so you really are really in your first year, and 7 months in, and you're trending 50 to 60 here. So were you a hairdresser before SAHAIR? Like when did you actually begin your first year as a hairdresser?
So in December, I was licensed.
Okay, so you literally came out of school and started this quest.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is a new beginning to you, and you're off to like I would call it a supersonic boom start. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Well, before we sign off, I want to go back to Nick and Barbie, and first of all, we're going to give it up for the extraordinary sharing. But I always like to end a conversation like this by a question, and that is, a lot of people watching tonight. There's going to be several thousand people watching this in the next few weeks as it lives on various platforms. And people tonight, you're kind of blowing up my dashboard here. They're identifying with who you are and your stories and your examples, but they're not where you are. they're where you were, and they're seeing a vision of what's possible. And I call them, you kind of put them at the holy jumping off place. Like, do I or do I not take the giant leap of faith? And then there's always that doubt. Well, what if I jump and I land on my, I land face down in the mud with arrows in my back? Is there anything you could share with them, say to them, that might motivate, inspire them to take the shot?
Yeah, the biggest thing is in this industry, I work outside this industry. So when I talk to the other guys and I tell them what the potential of these stylists, what these ladies are doing, they're like, hey, where do I sign up for cosmetology school? I can't believe that they're W-2. So, one thing about it is, whether you're a salon owner, it's all about building your culture, your teamwork culture. Like, we believe that you don't wait to be asked for help. You go and ask help first. Yeah. So we're always willing to help anybody, whatever they need in any way. God gave you two hands, one to pull you up and one to pull somebody else up. Yeah. So it's constantly what we beat in everybody's head and constantly talk to ourselves about and tell everybody is it is our responsibility. No matter what you're always going to know just a little more than somebody else. So if you can reach back and talk to somebody and tell them and help them, it is your responsibility, especially in this industry, to get somebody else to where you're at, bigger, better, faster, stronger. That's our whole goal in this life is we want this industry to be on top. We want people to understand that being a hairstylist is no joke at all. It is a solid career. These ladies are professionals to the core. I tell you what, every time I go to the back bar, I'm totally amazed as they're whipping up color and things are being thrown in. They're mixing they're like mad scientists back there. And I'm always amazed at it because I would never be able to do it. So just take the leap, have rules, but don't be afraid to bend them, break them. And things like you're saying is, you don't need to be in there for 40, 50, 60 hours. Yes. You can be very strategic and plan your day to where you can double book and be extremely efficient. Don't let your books and don't let your clients happen to you. You control your books. You control what's going on, and the income will just flow.
Well, we are way out of time, but I want you all to promise me that you'll come back for several encores. Getting to know you, I just think that you're a pocket of light. The Magnificent Seven plus the Maestro and I think you're just warming up. And I think it's for the other people in your crew just to see that this is possible. People stretch for something that they really believe can happen. So thank you very, very much for coming on. I know we will have a conversation after this conversation to kind of just debrief and say what's next. But until then, thank you all. Congratulations to you all. Godspeed to you all, because you are certainly an unprecedented vision of what's possible when you believe. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to give it up for you one more time, you guys, and then we're going to let you go.
All right.
All right, stay well. Have a good evening.
Take care.
Bye now. That was, I would say that was off the charts, huh? I want to give it up for these guys one more time. I loved it. There was something about hearing it 6 or 7 times that made it all happen for me. That it made it possible to just see one after. And as I was watching the people that were weighing in this evening, I could there was something about you being able to see it as well. Seeing is believing. So my hope is that it'll create a vision for you. Follow up with them on there. We tried to put on their Instagram handles. They'd be more than happy to chat with you on some things. And I'm going to be inviting them as special surprise guests on the Zoominars that I now do for Redken and L'Oreal and the L'Oreal PPD brand. So stay tuned to that. More will be revealed. If you're new to our conversation tonight, you're on Michael Cole, Millionaire Stylist Facebook page, and we do this every week. I have another page at Michael Cole, Millionaire Stylist, same handle on Instagram. I got a Michael Cole Next on TikTok, as well as a Michael Cole Next Clubhouse room. So come and hang out with us on those rooms. We will be editing this tape probably in several 5 or 10 minute chunks so that you can grasp that. We call them micro learnings, and we'll be placing them on my Michael Cole Millionaire Stylist Instagram IGTV channel. So please come and hang out with us there as well. You'll be able to see this. This was as much of a tutorial as anything. I want to do a quick shameless plug for Summit Salon 365.com. We're putting just an enormous amount of what I would call production value video content, just getting ready to place the second piece of content on there called Mindfulness. Michael Cole Mindfulness. And it really is a personal, interpersonal, transformational training. We talk about a salon culture, is the individual, the collective mindfulness of each individual on the team. And it really kind of speaks to this whole idea of mental, emotional wellness, social, emotional learning. So see about that. Check out SummitSalon365.com, and I think you're gonna be surprised and amazed. We have also you can schedule a 30-minute free virtual consultation with any of our coaches to see what's possible. You could see tonight we had the SAHAIR Salon are very, very strong advocates. You can see how Summit transformed their lives. On SalonCalcs.com are calculators now, where you're setting your annual goals, and the calculator, the app, does everything for you. So, and that's all compliments of L'Oreal Salon Emotion. So please check that out. Check that out as well. And we always end every program acknowledging and thanking our we're powered by L'Oreal Professional Products Division, and specifically L'Oreal Salon Emotion. These are L'Oreal's brands: Biolage and Pulp Riot, Pureology, Kerastase, L'Oreal Professional, Redken Matrix, Shu Mazzani, and use their brands, please, and get your clients to use their brands to the degree that you support them. They support us and empower us to bring this to you, compliments of them. So great show tonight. We're going to let you get back to your evening, and we will see you next week. We'll pick up where we left off. So, c'est la vie.